Philosophers have spent their lives trying to answer questions that plague the human mind. Is there a God? What makes us human? And now, is the Volkswagen Scirocco a hatchback or a coupe? Either way, it's one of the best looking affordable cars around today. But don't take my word for it. Take a look yourself. As you can see, the Scirocco is stunning, but they say it's what's on the inside that counts. I'm pleased to tell you then that it has a heart of pure gold and a personality from which you will never tire. With this well-proportioned center console covered in a sleek carbon fiber-like plastic, futuristic dials that sit on top, a lush multifunctional leather sports steering wheel, quality adjustment mechanisms, and these deep body embracing sports seats. There's plenty of room under the center console for your chewies or sweets or whatever you fancy. And the same goes for these nice cubby holes in the doors which can fit your average water bottle, for example. As well as this extra space tucked away in the armrest. So now let's take a look at the boot space. For a hatchback, it's really not that bad at all. And there's more than enough room for your evil sorcerers. You left Iago. Do you want a lift? So, as I was saying, the boot space is decent overall. As it's quite deep, however, you may struggle to remove heavier objects or bags. It just about passes the Lease Lowdown golf bag test, but if you need more room, then the rear seats fold down easily. The Scirocco GT model and above all come with parking sensors as standard both in the front and the rear of the car. They are very good parking sensors, but one issue is that the front ones in particular are very overzealous. For example, here we're approaching a wheelie bin at the front of the car, and when the sensors go red, I'm told to stop. You can see here that the distance between the front of the car and the wheelie bin itself is quite significant. It's at least, I don't know, 7 or 8 inches, which, for visual comparison, is about the same size as my clock. There's a whole host of other standard features that come with the GT model, like the Bluetooth telephone connection, the satellite navigation system, the AUX input, the SD card, the sports steering wheel, the ISOFIX systems on the rear seats, the dual climate control, and 18-inch alloy wheels, and start-stop technology, and a 6.5-inch touchscreen monitor, and, well, you get the idea. There is a lot that comes in this car as standard, and as a result, you won't be left feeling hard done by. The infotainment system in this car is actually one of the easiest to navigate that I've ever come across. The only thing is, when you try to use the central console, it can get a bit fidgety, especially when you're on the move. And that's whether you're using the touchscreen buttons or these physical ones in the middle. Reason being is that the console is actually quite far from where you're sat. There's nothing to stabilize your arm when it's at full reach to try and touch the buttons. You also get this Volkswagen bottle opener tucked away with the double cup holder, which is completely useless and you'll never use it. But it's undeniably cool, and it's little touches like that that make you feel special. For a car that sits so close to the ground, the ride is impressively smooth, and these mesh seats with Alcantara trim, which again come as standard in this model, really absorb your movement as well as looking pretty damn cool. The rear seats are similarly commodious, As you can see here, I think quite highly of the Scirocco in terms of design, but can it match that in performance? Yes. Yes, it can. This is the mid-range 2-litre turbo diesel, which produces 150 brake horsepower, and that makes for a 0 to 60 time of 8.6 seconds, which isn't bad at all. As with many turbocharged cars, there is a little bit of a delay, but it's less than you'd expect, and it makes for a surprisingly impressive drive and takeoff. For a 2-litre diesel, this car really does kick you in the backside. And the 6-speed manual gearbox is great. The stick slides into place effortlessly. The Scirocco also performs quite well in terms of handling. It's a little bit on the stiff side, but nothing to write home about, and you can still have a lot of fun throwing it around the corners. The only thing that I would say is that with 3-point turns and much slower maneuvers, the car feels quite heavy, and it's sometimes a little bit difficult to keep turning the wheel back and forth, but again, not a massive deal. In terms of economy, I've been achieving 43.2 miles per gallon, which is a long way off of the documented 67.3. Now, it costs £60 to fill up the 55-litre tank, and that should get you a respectable 400 miles at least, and more if you're driving on the motorway. So how much can you lease this 2-litre GT diesel model for? Well, it costs between £250 and £350 a month on average. And its main competitors are things like the Audi TT Coupe or the 3-door BMW 1 Series, for example, both of which come with similar engines. Now, I think that's a very reasonable price indeed, especially considering all of the stuff that you get in here as standard. Stick a different badge on the front and it'd probably inflate the price by at least £50 a month. In conclusion then, Volkswagen have done an immense job with the Scirocco. It was actually a challenge trying to find things about it that I didn't like. Now, we would definitely recommend this 2-litre GT diesel model because of the amazing balance between performance and economy, and additionally because of the fantastic standard spec that you get with it, which you've already seen. Now, Lease Lowdown recently published an article on badge snobbery and how there's not much place for it in today's market. The Scirocco is the perfect example of why. What's the point in paying more money for a premium badge or manufacturer when you can get the same, if not more, in something like this?
Wait a minute.
If you like this video, then please thumbs up and subscribe, and visit our website, LeaseLowdown.co.uk, for more automotive content.
Alright.